What is good, guys? Hope you're all well. So today I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of what I was seeing that allowed me to catch the sells, same as yesterday. Price is in a bit of a confusing spot, but it's easy to anticipate, really. Um, so yeah, firstly, we'll go on the daily. Overall, we're still bullish. we haven't we haven't broken any major lows on the daily, so if anything, this is like a model 2. That being said, until we do a structure shift to the upside and pull back, it's going to be a bit of a fight, especially with sellers holding this line. And then obviously we've got the box tool on the whole range, which shows that we're currently in sell territory and lines up with all the sell defense we see. So we bear that in mind. Yes, we're bullish, but currently we're in a bearish leg until the highs are broken and some structure is formed. So we take that into consideration. And then when we break down onto the 4-hour, what do we see? This is a sell area, and sellers have created a base here. So I put it in the chat yesterday, I put it in the chat today. The reversal pattern plays out on all the time frames because price action is fractal, right? So here we have the delta held pattern, and then we have the gold zone. So this is literally 90% retest to the T. No, it's this leg. So we've come up and tested that, but we still see bullish structure. That doesn't mean that we're not going to get a pullback. So what makes sense to me is a pullback into this buy area, sweep the low, and then push up from there, potentially. If not, we continue with the bearish leg and we go further down. So that's what we're seeing on the 4-hour. And again, I use my pre-flight checklist to go through everything, and that's how I get an idea of where I want to buy from, where I want to sell from. Yesterday's sells were super nice as well. So then we come over to the open, and granted my charts are difficult to read at the best of times, but this is also why the box tool is clutch, because we've marked the box tool on the 10-minute here. On this current range, is this a 10-minute? Yeah, here we go. So if we zoom right out, and granted it's messy, but I don't look at it like this, I'll zoom in. But we've drawn the box tool from the low here up to the high, and that puts us at the middle of the range, which is why we've got this shitty action. Ultimately, we're going to come down and test the base, most likely, which is also where New York bought from yesterday, here. We've also bought from further down, which is why I've got this area of interest. And then again, we've got the delta held pattern here, gold zone for that's here, so it all makes sense. Ultimately, I think we come down, sweep the lows, and then come up for the London highs. That's what I see happening, because we see a lot of buy pressure, but at the moment they're just getting absorbed. Sells are going to grind downwards into the buy area of interest, and then it's just going to boop straight up to the top. On the 10-minute, we see this area here. We've got a collection of sellers obviously putting up a wall in alignment with the current bearish leg, and within that we see on the retest buyers are just getting trapped, still breaking structure down. And then we can come to our open. I'll try and space this out a bit because because it's in the middle of the range, it is very ugly price action. So we see, I think this is marked on the 10-minute, we see a delta held pattern here where it sweeps the highs, which creates this gold zone. And then what we want to see from there is intent down, which I thought we got, but again, we're in the middle of the range, which it's in my rules not to trade, but I'll Apparently I haven't learned that lesson yet. So we've got a delta held on the 10 minute here, which gives us a gold zone. Granted, we've come up and we tested it, and this is where my initial entries were, but I didn't mark the latest 1 minute. I think I marked one prior to it. I can't remember where it's gone, I've deleted it. But we've got the delta held here as well. Oops. Forgive me, let me get my head straight. There we go. So it's a 1 minute delta held that I've paid attention to. We've come into that, we've tested that. I've tried to gain an entry here, here, and here, but it's too early. We haven't seen proper intent yet. We do see proper intent from that first move. Price pulls back up to the top, straight into the gold zone. Right. Clears these highs, gives us a nice model free, and then what we can do, or what we do, is we can then drop down onto the 10T. Don't need a fib. So granted, first entries, I was looking at this as a delta held, but the structure's not really that clean. It's not at the top of the range, it's at the bottom of the movement, so I don't think that's valid. Anyway, intent shown, pulled back. That's a terrible sell, that's pure FOMO. Gets wrecked. Into the gold zone again. Comes back down, sets a higher low. I'll try it again, got wrecked. And then we've come back. And the reason these haven't worked is because this delta held isn't valid. I'd say, because this is a 1 minute, right? So in order for this, that's it. Basically, I didn't, on the open, I had a previous delta held set up. It might have been the high here and these lows, so I was looking at that. I didn't mark the latest structure when it started spazzing out on the open, which is why this is the delta held that I should have been paying attention to. So doing this on the microstructure when this hasn't matured yet, that's why it hasn't worked. As soon as it does break, we pull back. We don't see our structure formed, so there's no valid entries yet. Comes back down, comes back up and tests the gold zone again. We see trap buyers, and we also see the criteria, which is the delta held once more. Fib, retest, and entry. Yeah, sweet. Down. It's the first move. So it's, sorry, Tim, I'm just in the middle of a video, mate.
Good morning from the west.
Excuse me. So, yeah, so we've seen the structure set, we've retested, we've seen the structure print after the retest, we've seen the structure print on the lower time frame, we've seen some OF confluence as well. We get a nice move from there, and then we get another retest, which comes back up, sweeps the highs, giving us a model free, and prints exactly the same thing. Delta held, retest, sold off, and because I took L's on that premature entry before, I was distrustful of this, which means I did the same that I did yesterday, cut it way too early, and then it's come all the way down, almost into my area of interest. So, yeah, these moves are super powerful, guys. Pay attention to structure. Don't worry too much about order flow at this time, in my opinion, because once you get this down, the order flow is just a little bit of magic on top. You don't necessarily need, well, you do need the order flow, but the structures and paying attention to the delta held, that gives you your areas of interest. That is basically a navigation, and then the order flow is just extra confluent. So structures, there's a reason Uzi's been telling us to fucking drill it for the longest time. It's Tez's favorite sell, and it prints and prints and prints and prints. So if you want to catch these big ass moves, this is the way to do it. So open the journals, go back over the price action, one thing I realized yesterday is the mistake I've been making, and probably a lot of people make, is they turn up, and because they're turning up to the charts every single day, they think that, you know, they're putting their all into trading. But if you think about boxing as an example, if someone just turns up and spars every day, the only thing they're going to come up with is fucking brain damage. They're not going to learn anything. They're not going to get any better. They're just going to become like a street fighter with no skill, and someone that coming up against anyone with skill is just going to get flattened. So you want to turn up and drill and do the technique and run the drills, listen to the coach, run the drills, learn the patterns, learn the techniques, etc. And then when you turn up to live sparring in the markets, you're not getting your fucking head kicked in and and just reacting to price out of pure survival mode, fight and flight, because you actually know what you're looking for. So stop just turning up to the markets. And this is the reason why it's taken me 3 years. I'm not here going, oh, look how great I am. This is literally, if I knew this from day one, if I'd have listened to Uzi basically from day one, as most of the people in the chat are doing. Irish has come in, he's killing it. Why? Because he's listened to Uzi. All the new guys in the chat, drilling. They're just setting the foundations. And it's as you've just seen from the breakdown, top to bottom, it's super easy. And then when you start getting confident on it, you can just scalp every range. So that's my bit of advice. That's my little spiel for today. So hopefully there's some wisdom in there for you. I'm gonna do a Zoom in about 45 minutes, an hour. So if you want to hop on that, hop on that. Laters.